Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt. Welcome to 2019. It is Fanuary. That's right, I worked 2 months on coming up with Fanuary for this fun month of where I'm going to look at mostly fans. Don't worry, there'll be some other stuff too. Also, to say this before the video gets too far into it, if you're just interested in seeing what the lighting is on the fans, skip to the very end and I'll post what I usually do, which is just me going through certain features of the fans, and it's no talking, just music and fans with lights and colors. And if that's all you're interested in, just skip to that. I'll post the timestamp down below and probably right here. So to kick off Fanuary, the first fans I'm going to be looking at are Gamdias M series fans. Now these fans have come a long way since they first released. When they first released, they were individually powered by molex connection, gross, and they also used a button to find the feature or function you wanted, so you couldn't really link them together. But Gamdias has fixed all that with things like the Aeolus Box II and making them all kind of uniform from the Talos P1 tower up. So they're all 4-on-4 8-pin connections, and if you've got the 4-on-4 8-pin connection, you've got the latest fans that they have. Now the Aeolus hub is pretty nice. While it has some room for expansion as well, things like LED lights that are coming out, the addressable RGB lights that they're gonna be releasing, or that Gamdias is gonna be releasing, you can plug those into it. But for the most part, it can host up to 6 fans, and you can use either variety 140 or 120 in the same hub. The hub can also be chained to other hubs, which is pretty cool. So if you want to put a ton of fans in there, you can have multiple hubs that'll all function off of one RF remote. Side note, if you don't want to use the RF remote, if you don't want to use Gamdias's built-in stuff, you can also use the 5-volt adapter for your motherboard's RGB and tie it in with things like MSI Mystic, RGB Fusion, and what's the other one? I can never remember the third one. Doesn't matter what order I say it in. RS Sync. So while the speeds can change on the fan, it doesn't use any kind of temperature selection to know this. It doesn't know when things are getting hot and to ramp up the fans. It's all manual selection. Your fan speeds are 800 RPM at the lowest, 1000 RPM at the mid-range, 1200 RPM at the top. And we'll stop right here and do a sound test so you can see how loud they are. Now we did ambient room decibel, and then we turned the fans on, and that way you could see the difference, what they added to the ambient room sound. Have a listen. These fans are pretty quiet. If you didn't notice from listening to that test, it might be a little hard to kind of decipher listening to it over recording, but they are pretty quiet fans, and that's something that I really like. I like how quiet they are. I also like the fact that they're double diffused on the side, so the back and the front are diffused with a light ring. That's pretty awesome too, because a lot of these budget ones, it's just one side that you see, and I try to stay away from those. I want something that lights on both sides, that way you can see both inside and exterior aesthetics, either from the top or front, as well as inside, to help kind of give some of that lighting in there, because lighting is fun. Let's face it, it doesn't make you play games better, but it's fun to have. Touching on the Aeolus Box II, something that's really cool about it is it has 2 magnets on the bottom, which make it really nice for kind of just setting it inside of a tower and being really easy to install. I like that a lot. I'm glad they went that route, not some sticky stuff you have to put somewhere and then it's kind of a semi-permanent solution. Magnets are great. On top of that, it's also SATA powered. We don't have to worry about plugging in molex, breaking molex, dealing with molex. SATA powered is the way to go, and they SATA power this box. So if you're using the actual built-in stuff by Gamdias, you have 54 different modes, and a lot of these modes are different colors of the same thing, so calling it 54 modes is a little generous, I think. But you have 54 different modes, from all the different colors that you want to pick to all the standard included colors that they offer you, to several different fun effects, and it's pretty easy to reset. The remote is actually really nice. On the remote you can always go back to one of the basic 2 on the bottom middle and select from there, and then go through your modes if you'd like up or down. That way it's easier to find it and you're not getting lost somewhere in the 54 modes while you're cycling through the modes. Each lighting effect features 11 speeds of lighting effects, so from the very baser one to the very fast ones. I'll be sure and show some of that here, but again at the end I'll try and throw some of that in. You also have 11 levels of brightness, so if you don't like something super bright and you want it to be super dim, you can turn it down 11 levels, and 12 if you count off. The problem with about 6 and less, maybe 7 and less as far as the lower levels go, you really start to get that hot spotting on the fans, and if that bothers you like it bothers me, you're going to probably tend to keep them pretty bright. On the remote too, if you end up going with the motherboard sync, there's a motherboard sync button, so you can just tell them, hey, go ahead and just do that. Talk to the motherboard, don't worry about talking to me, the RF remote, anymore. A question I get a lot of times too is, do I feel like it pushes air well enough? Yes, it does. Absolutely, I have no problems with it. I'd put these on radiators. I'd put them on radiators especially because I know I can adjust the speeds on them if I wanted to. And the best way to do that, seeing as it doesn't have a way to auto-detect temperatures, is to run a benchmark, run something, see where your heat goes, and play with the settings if that's fun to do. Or just leave something open in the background, MSI Afterburner, something like that, so you can go back and kind of audit what your temperatures were and decide, do I need to crank the fans up a little more if I throw them on a radiator, or are they fine where they're at? Whatever's a happy place for you. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say about them. Happy year 2019, happy Fanuary. We'll do a couple more fans this month. Don't worry, I have some other stuff too. I'll see you guys in the next video I do. Have a great day, night, whatever it is.